Live out there, folks. I'm your guy, James Owen.
And I'm Sanders Tisdale.
So coming up today on the show, we have a lot to talk about around the NFL. Referees screwing up once again. We have a lot of upsets in the NFL. We'll go over some scores. Bye week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to talk about what we need to do coming off this bye week, how the Pittsburgh Steelers can advance in the future, and a plethora of other things. Stay tuned when we come back to Steel Nation Live.
Hey guys, like James said, welcome back. Steeler Nation Live. Huge weekend. Steelers didn't even play. A lot of things are out there. A lot of ramifications of early losses in here that do affect the Steelers. And there's a lot of things we have to talk about. But James, I'm gonna let you start off and take the show on the road, baby.
Absolutely, folks. It was a pretty boring weekend for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their fans, especially when the Steelers weren't playing and everyone in the division won their games. Ravens won. The Browns won. They beat the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to talk about that later. Hopefully, San Fran Steve will be calling in the show. We're also going to talk about the Bengals winning again. Bengals on a hot streak, but they're 0-2 in our division. So we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about a lot of things besides the upsets. We're going to talk about trade deadline coming up soon. Now, this is uncharted waters for the Pittsburgh Steelers because if you remember back during draft, Omar Khan, the con artist, the new GM for the Pittsburgh Steelers, made a lot of moves, a lot of draft choices, a lot of signings, free agent signings, stuff uncharacteristic like of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And hopefully during this trade deadline, we were pretty much quiet with that Kevin Colbert, who, was a predecessor to Omar Khan, the general manager. Hopefully we are going to see some big time shakeup moves. And Sanders, I have a bunch of players that I think the Steelers need to to trade for. And it's not going to shock a lot of people out there. There's certain positions that we really need to, to strengthen up. And the two positions that I'm thinking right now is obviously the O-line and the cornerback position. So what I got down, I looked at the possible trades for trade deadlines, and the first that comes to my mind is Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos. Well, he was drafted first in 2021. He will cost the Steelers a pretty penny, but remember a couple of years ago where the Pittsburgh Steelers gave up a first-round draft choice to get Fitzpatrick, and he has done nothing but excel for the Pittsburgh Steelers defensively. And, it's going to be pretty expensive to get him, but he's young, a former first-round draft pick. He's going to replace Wallace because he's last year on his contract. So I don't see him coming back to Pittsburgh again. And Patrick Peterson will probably more likely retire. So we got to shore up that cornerback position for next year and keep him and sign him again. Your thoughts on the cornerback position there, Sanders?
Well, the Steelers, they definitely need somebody to fill a void because we do see we got some corners out there that possibly need to be vacationing in other places. And, to me, Levi Wallace comes to mind. And there's a couple others that come to mind as well. But the Steelers right now, you got to take advantage. And like I said, James, I do like this young GM that we have now in Pittsburgh. Khan, this guy is doing it. He's really doing it. He's doing it to a level to where I think in a short span of period of time, this guy is going to make the Pittsburgh Steelers a viable option. And the way, like I said, we had Kevin Colbert. I mean, we had this guy for years, you know what I mean? And so when you have a guy like that for years and you let him go, now you start to see how the other clubs are doing it with younger talent, younger GMs coming in, and these guys making these decisions that you were like, wow, now somebody's moving. So right now, James, I agree with you totally. The Steelers right now, they should take advantage of the trade deadlines that's coming up. Try to make some moves, try to move people, try to get things going in a different direction.
And the thing that makes this more profitable for the Pittsburgh Steelers is that the Denver Broncos are really not doing that good this year. In fact, I think they're last place in their division. So a fire sale might be on the front coming up pretty soon. And, a couple draft picks for Surtain. I mean, he is a quality cornerback. And let's not forget Joey Porter Jr., who is coming up through the ranks, who should be starting come next Sunday against the Rams in LA. We head west. We'll talk about that later on the show. Also, like we talked earlier, Sanders, cornerback, offensive line, we have some depth, but if you don't have good depth, it doesn't matter how many players you get. Now there's this one kid, I call him kid because I'm an old man. So are you two. So Trent Brown, offensive tackle for the New England Patriots, right tackle, Okafor, not doing it anymore. We paid him a lot of money to basically false start. I mean, he's a false start king of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, and he's really not come around to the capabilities that he was getting paid for. He's getting paid for. So we bring this kid in. Same situation with Denver Broncos. I mean, it's going to take a couple draft picks and some money to get him, but he is quality, and the right side needs help. I mean, we can put Dan Moore switching from the left tackle, put him over to the right side, and have Broderick Jones step up and be the starter. That's still, can happen. I don't know, but that right side of the offensive line is weak right now. And so if we get an established offensive lineman like Trent Brown from New England Patriots, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will be getting that offensive line like they did last year, how they pieced together, that offensive line. They kind of gelled. It took them late in the season. We were 6-2 to run out the season to become, at least 500, one game over 500. Didn't make the playoffs, but at least we turned it around. The offensive line gelled. But right now we're starting to, digress. And it's getting to the point, Sanders, where that the offensive line starts to need gelling. And our center position is one of the key positions that we really need to address in this upcoming draft, next year's draft, that we need a quality center. And we'll talk about that later. And shoring up that defensive line, defensive tackle. Now, who knows how long Cam Hayward's going to be around the Pittsburgh Steelers, how healthy he's going to be. A lot of talks about trading Cam Hayward. That's ridiculous to even say something like that, because he's been, lifelong member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He put everything out there on the line for them. He's getting to the age where he's, it's getting time to think about hanging up them cleats, and he's prone to injuries as of late. So with Keanu Benton, DeMarvin Leal, those guys shoring up the middle, this guy would be a great addition to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a big run stuffer, can and will help, like I said, Benton and Hayward, and we'll need him for years to come, especially next year if Hayward were to retire. Sanders, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. We got to find somebody to fill that void of Hayward. Hayward, that's a huge step right there. You got to love what Hayward has brought to this organization. Tough, gritty, the old style still of football, and guys like this, bringing them into Pittsburgh, bringing back the glory days, because right now the Pittsburgh got away from what they used to do, which was the run. And the run, they got away from that. But on the defensive side of the ball, they used to have a run stuffer in the middle out there. The days with when our defense was golden, 2008, when the Steelers won the Super Bowl, great run stuffers in the middle, and the Steelers have lost that focus. And right now, getting guys off the trade deadlines can help the Steelers bolster that on defense.
Yeah, just a couple more players. We don't want to bore you too much, but we're just letting you know, folks out there, the Pittsburgh Steelers, here at Steeler Nation Live, that we do our homework. We go out there and we really put in the work. We put in the effort to let you guys know, be informed of what the Pittsburgh Steelers should do, could do, may do, whatever. Folks, call us at 585-210-3917. That's 585-210-3917. We're still waiting for San Fran Steve to call. Maybe is he going to call? I think he will. But anyways, folks, I just talked about center being an option for the Pittsburgh Steelers in next year's upcoming draft. But who can we possibly trade for? Quinn Meinerz, center for the Carolina Panthers. And once again, another team going in the wrong direction might have a fire sale. Now, he was drafted 2 years ago ahead of Green. And we talked about Kendrick Green was not the answer to center. Was not. I mean, can you replace Pouncey? Nobody can replace Pouncey. Mike Webster, maybe. But anyways, Kendrick Green was not the answer to Pittsburgh Steelers. Total mistake drafting him. And right now, Mason Cole, he came in from the Vikings last year. We picked him up in free agency, and he started out pretty rough. He got his stuff together, but now he's just falling apart. He's rated the worst center in NFL. Jeremy Chin, safety from the Panthers, like I said. He's a versatile number 1 pick. He can play all positions. He can play safety, corner, linebacker, and nickelback. He can play those. And we're going to talk. Oh, we got a phone call coming in. And we're going to talk about my latest pick, who I think we should get and before the trade deadline. Welcome, caller. Who do we have on the line? We missed the caller. Caller, call back. I promise we'll answer the phone.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yep.
Maybe it was San Fran Steve. That's a weird area code. Not sure where it's from. But San Fran Steve, we promise. We promise if you call in, we'll be very gentle with you. And hopefully the fans at home. 585-210-3917. And when I was saying, Sanders, and a lot of people out there, relax. Hear me out. Hear me out on this one. And, I've mentioned a few people, a few Steeler fans. Some of them agreed with me. Some thought I was crazy. But the thought of bringing a top caliber veteran quarterback to the Pittsburgh Steelers to see if he's potentially the future of the Steelers, like a Ben Roethlisberger kind of type quarterback, a veteran, a guy who's been around the league, who knows his stuff. And folks, I'm talking about Kirk Cousins from the Minnesota Vikings. You're probably saying, oh man, that'll never happen. There's a possibility. You show me a quarterback. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. This guy puts up numbers every game. I mean, over 300 yards a game, this guy puts up. The only quarterback, and I could believe in NFL history, been in the league 6 years. Those 6 years, he put up over 3,000 yards passing and over 25 touchdowns each year. What could that guy come and do for Pittsburgh? What can he do to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Pickett. We can still keep Pickett. I mean, Rudolph is trade bait right now. He knows he's gone. He's talked about being traded earlier. And so we're going to keep Trubisky. We're going to keep Pickett around. And we'll sign a contract with Kirk Cousins for at least 2 years because he's still got at least 6 more years to go. We got a caller on the line here. Let's take this phone call, folks.
Hey, who do we got on the line here on Steeler Nation Live?
Hey, let's put a muzzle on him.
Hey, how do you hang this up?
Guys, this is, who we got on the line. This is San Fran Steve.
San Fran Steve.
San Fran Steve, how you doing, brother? It's been a rough weekend for you. We're looking for your call, and you didn't disappoint. You called in to Steeler Nation Live, just like a man standing up on 2 feet. But, Steve, the only difference is your team didn't stand up on 2 feet.
No, it's just like we had some bad penalties. We had some injuries, and we got a kicker that can't. He reminded me of the Buffalo Bills back in the Super Bowl, wide right. So,
yeah,
I think you just can't keep blaming the referees for everything. Was Mitchell's hit a legal hit or not? Is this like was it a fumble that they lived past it? And this is a very good lesson for Brock Purdy. Is this like he did put his team in position to go for the win, and the kicker just didn't execute.
Yeah, so
but
not to beat you up, Steve, and I promise I won't do this, but he almost had me. I was getting to the point where I was convinced that Brock Purdy may be just a great quarterback. Well, he was exposed, and I'll tell you why. We talked about this, shows ago, that if you take all the weapons away from Purdy, you're pretty much an average quarterback. And also, he exposed himself, and he can't play in the rain either. He can't play under pressure. He can't play in the rain, and he can't play without his guys. So it just
let's hold on. Let's go back. You said you can't play exposed. He can't play with weapons. You show me a quarterback that can play with weapons. You guys only have one weapon right now. That's your only weapon is George Pickens. And no, the other part of the team is to look at. We threw the ball and we had receivers drop it. It's just like, you know what? You were busting my chops on Sunday. It's like, oh, you got beat by a third string quarterback. Well, Purdy was a third string quarterback and we're on a 15-game win streak.
Well, actually, he wasn't a third string quarterback. He was pulled off the practice squad. So I don't know what string that would be, but he was a
third string. Last year was third string.
It could have been fourth string. I don't know. Because you stood up 3 quarterbacks, and then also, anyways, that's just, anyways.
Hey, I'm taking my lumps. I don't care. I
No,
see
listen,
the Cowboy
listen.
fans came on and so hey.
You see that? Yeah.
Listen.
I saw that. But you got to also listen to this. It's just like
We all
I
had
listened to
bad
some of your
games.
draft picks. I listened to some of your draft picks or some of the trade deadlines you want, and the Titans going to cost too much money, and there's going to be other playoff caliber teams that are going to want to grab him for the injuries. I was talking to my brother today, and he's a big Tennessee fan, and he was like, "You know what? I can't see Derrick Henry staying too much longer because he's a big salary dump." It's just like I think Tennessee's in a rebuilding year, just like you guys are trying to fix holes, which you want to just go do what a lot of teams do is just find these overpriced players that might have a year or two, and that's it. And I don't think that's the right way. I think you guys should really go back to the draft and maybe, Surtain's 24, 25, so he might have some record time. But what's your salary cap looking like for next year?
Well,
So
I don't think the draft really works for the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as quarterbacks. You have to go all the way back to Terry Bradshaw. Believe he was the number one pick, and
with a 52 average.
And he was horrible too. I mean, you cannot grab. Well, Ben Roethlisberger. Well, I'm sorry. Ben Roethlisberger was the best drafted quarterback in Steeler history. And you think about all the drafts that we've had and all the quarterbacks that the Pittsburgh Steelers have and who succeeded. And Roethlisberger and Terry Bradshaw are the only two quarterbacks who succeeded with the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as draft. I think we have to do something different. I think we have to try the free agency and not just trade for a quarterback like a Trubisky, who's a backup. You have to go for a guy like a Kirk Cousins, who still has a lot of gas in that tank. I say 4 to 6 more years that he can develop, and he can develop Pickett. Pickett's still under rookie contract for the next 3 years. So he can have time to develop under Kirk Cousins because he's not doing it under Matt Canada right now. So drafting a quarterback.
I hear what you're saying, but I think I read something yesterday or today that Minnesota's not ready to give up on him yet. So it's just like then, oh yeah, I understand that the quarterback, you might want to go for a veteran free agents, but your skill positions is like you said. I heard you said you want an offensive lineman. You went and got one, but he's not developed one in the first round. You want to get a corner. You said I heard a cornerback. You know, you could possibly get someone that's 2 or 3 years old. But look at what happened to the Buffalo Bills. They had Elam that is a big bust, and their 4th round or 5th round draft pick is doing a lot better. And I think it's Bedford or something like that. But it's just like, well, maybe that's your front office. It's not your scouting team's not getting the right picks. And it's just like, so no, I hear what you're saying about a veteran quarterback, but I also think that for your skill positions, you got to start drafting young. So if you guys aren't that young as a team either. So it's just like some of these older teams need to start looking at drafting youth. You know, it's just like,
well,
we have a lot of young guys, but we also have some older guys. It's like you can't trade a youthful left tackle and trade him for a Trent Williams who kept the last 2 all-pro pass rushers away from his quarterback, and that's in
Broderick Jones pretty much stood on his head coming in as a rookie left tackle to protect Pickett against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, he did an extremely great job, and this kid who struggled earlier in preseason and struggled coming in regular season is now starting to develop. And the worst thing that they can do is put Dan Moore in there, who was pretty much horrible before he got hurt. Put him on the right side. Put Dan Moore on the right side. We talked about this a few minutes ago, and see if he can develop on the right side and keep this kid in, because once he starts developing, you give this kid confidence. We talked about confidence a couple shows ago and what it can do to a player's character, how it could either make it better or make it worse. But this kid is on an upswing right now, and the worst thing you can do is pull him out of there and have this guy come in there and get Pickett killed, because he's his backside protector.
No, and I agree with you on that one, but it's just like I disagree with you on some of the other things. Like you put a lot of money into that 1st round draft pick that I think I call it the draft dime. And Tiz was there, and he goes, "Yep, you guys are getting this." But I think you still need to go You know, you get the one all pro. Like who's the leadership? Who's the leader in this? Is usually your center. So you guys lost a great center a couple years ago, and it's like you never been able to replace him.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
So you get your leadership. If you got to go, not like the Bills did, and picked up the guy from Kansas City who's a flop. But if you get a good center who's been around for 2 or 3 years, or even a rookie that's like the number one person off the board, you might have to spend a first round draft pick and put your eggs in one basket, move up, and try to get your anchor for the line. You know, and then it's your quarterback. You need him to be protected. So if he throws left-handed or right-handed, you got to go to the opposite for the tackle. Everything else you can start filling in with younger guys, and they'll start learning. Because the pass rushers aren't really coming up the center. All your best pass rushers are on the ends, and they're going against the left or right tackle, and they're going, or you got your biggest defensive player going up the center, which is your center has to take up. So it's just like you could fill in the other spot. So I just think that if you guys keep looking the way you are, you guys will be fine in 2 or 3 years. But I'm not giving you a championship next year. So
right. I like what you're saying. I like that, and that makes sense. But let me ask you something now. You know, like I said, it was a freak thing. I don't know if it was a freak thing that happened with the Cleveland Browns. Now the Cleveland Browns, there's only been one quarterback that's actually thrown for over 200 yards versus the Cleveland Browns, and that was Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett. Out of all these quarterbacks out there that faced the Cleveland Browns' number one defense,
Kenny Pickett.
Now, it's saying
it. Their defense is getting better and better. They might have the best front seven in the league right now.
Oh yeah. The Cleveland Browns are getting dangerous. And you know,
I'm talking about Cleveland has the best front seven right now. I think so. I think you guys got lucky, and I'm not trying to beat you guys up, but you guys got lucky with 2 defensive touchdowns in the first time you played Cleveland.
Luck. Defensive touchdowns are not luck. That's grit. That's domination right there. I mean, the first play, the Cleveland Browns came out. I remember that was a pick 6 with Alex Highsmith taking it in. First play of the game. And then, of course, you know, TJ Watt's got to get a scoop 6, and he runs in another touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, this is what it's all about. Defenses win championships. They win ball games. And that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers do. Splash plays, defensive plays. If we don't get them, we usually lose.
Yeah, it's offenses win games, defenses keep you in the game, special teams win.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Steve, now let me ask you this. Now, because we got some other phone calls coming in, and especially Cowboy Kenny, he's coming in a little bit after you because he wanted to call in and chime in. As you can see, I think he was writing on the board as well. But let me ask you this. The San Francisco 49ers are who do you got up next? If you know,
that's a good question. I was weeping my eyes for a couple days.
I think you guys have a bye.
Oh, they might have a bye this week?
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they have a bye.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to see what
No. We have 2 games in a bye.
Oh, okay.
Cardinals, maybe?
So,
I don't know.
No, we just played the Cardinals. I just don't have the schedule in front of me. Usually I'm prepared, but had a couple things going on today. So, but one thing I want to bring up: what the hell's going on with the referees and the front office needs to get something done with all these fightings before the games, during the games, and everything else. You know what? Tell my brother. Look at my brother talking shit.
I know. I see.
No, but it's just like
that's a good point.
Okay, the 49ers and the Browns had a big fight just before the game. Dallas last night had a big fight with
the Chargers.
With the Chargers last night before the game.
How does
the Bills and the Giants were going in at half the game. So it's just like, you know what, the NFL needs to take control of these. You know what, you start fighting before the game, get the numbers and suspend them for 6 games, and they'll. You know what? I don't care if it's all world, your best player in the league. It's just like he wants to start a fight before, during, or after the game. No, he needs to be ejected.
Oh, by the way, Steve, you guys played the Cardinals. It was just rolled on the board.
Oh, playing with Dobson now.
Yep. Yeah, and you guys should win that game. You should win it. Yeah, I mean, give us a score.
Well, they're playing another third-string quarterback. We don't know.
Well, let's talk about records at the end of the season. My team and your team. So it's just like
Records.
let's talk about
are meaningless.
percentage.
Records are
Huh?
meaningless because we'll
Let's
talk about
stats.
we'll talk
Let's
about the
stats.
we could talk about the Seattle Seahawks not too long ago, who entered the playoffs at a 6-9 record before we went to the 17-game season. Yeah, they made the playoffs at 6-9. So
with a 9-7. You guys almost went in with a 9.
When you get to the
9-8 record.
playoffs, records are out the window, clean slate. It doesn't matter
That's true.
how
Yes,
you
sir.
got there. It all that matters is you got there.
Let's see how Kenny Pickett does in his first game as a playoff. If he gets to the playoffs this year, let's see how he does his first
No,
year.
I'm agreeing with you.
I think he's going to do really great in his first playoff appearance.
Oh, I don't think so. I think you know what? How these teams are punching people in the ball. Did he get the ball out and doing like
Listen.
the biggest roundhouse and everything else? Is this like, is this a football game or a UFC game? Is
Listen,
this like
big changes are coming with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what we hear.
Yeah.
Big changes, pal.
Okay.
You better
Oh,
better be ready.
Stevie, give me that score, brother. Give me that score. San Fran versus the Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals will get like 16.
16.
I think DMC might be coming back. I don't know why. He's 7 for a game. Delo's talking about coming back. Mitchell's coming back as a linebacker. I'll say 28-16.
28-16. San 49ers. Okay.
And who
Hopefully
you
it don't
guys, who you
rain.
guys playing this week?
We got the LA Rams.
LA Rams out in LA.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see how you guys do next week, and we'll talk again next Tuesday.
Oh, we're gonna do big changes come up there. San Fran, Steve, thanks for calling in. You got the cojones to call in. You didn't back down. You weren't scared. You know what? We all have those bad games. Trust me, we know we're Pittsburgh Steelers fans. we have more than we want to talk about. But you know what? There's always tomorrow. And just hope it doesn't rain in Arizona, wherever you guys are playing.
Hey, good job there, Steve. Love it, love it, love it. San Fran Steve on Still a Nation Live stopping by, giving his thoughts.
All right, see ya.
See you, brother.
And now we got to deal with Cowboy fans now.
Oh yeah. Like I said, you know what? Because the Steelers are down this week, we talking about NFL. We also talking about some things the Steelers do need changes on as well. But you touch base. But we talk about some NFL games out there as well. So we want to hear from different clubs out there, different people out there about their club, what they think is going on. But we in the meantime, we'll keep it going with the Steelers. Oh, here we go. It never stops. It never stops here at Still a Nation Live. Welcome to Still a Nation Live. I got a feeling I know who this is on Still a Nation Live.
Cowboy Kenny.
Oh,
Jesus. You can't make this up, folks. You cannot make this up. This is amazing.
Oh, man.
Make this up.
The shortest phone call in Radio Talk history. Thanks for calling, caller.
What happened?
Oh.
There we go.
Wow.
Hey, Kenzo, are you still on?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you go. I don't know what happened there, bro. It just stopped.
Damn Cowboys messing everything up.
You ain't
I'm trying to
lying.
give my deepest sympathy to San Fran Steve.
So
Really?
better send him some roses.
I was hurt. When I saw the weaknesses that were being exposed. So
Now wait. You know what? The first time I think in football history, I'm going to have to agree with a Cowboy fan. And you know as well as I do, Cowboy Kenny, you've listened to the show and you heard me talk about I wasn't never sold on this Brock Purdy kid. You know, great story. I mean, he's coming up, the last guy picked in the draft. And I tried to explain myself that, you know, you put him in any other situation without McCaffrey, the best running back in football, the two best wideouts, Ayuk and Debo. I mean, the defense that the 49ers have, I mean, you're just setting this guy up for victory.
Yeah.
You're setting him up. And
Yeah.
you know, a fact that me and Sanders talked briefly before the show started, is that he didn't. I mean, the players weren't hurt right away. They were hurt maybe first half, at the end of the first half, maybe start of the second half. So he had a lot of time for mistakes. Pressure, can't throw in the rain. It's kryptonite. So, I mean, now I'm definitely not sold on him because I just actually proved my point from shows ago about, why I wasn't sold on this guy. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's got a great football IQ. He can throw the ball. He's very smart. He's very athletic. He's got the physicality of a great quarterback, but I was never sold on him, and he was exposed.
I will say that, though, for him, I want to see how he redeems himself, comes back from this.
Yeah. That would be good.
That's going to really test what he's really about,
Yeah. Let's play a game.
Let's bounces back from this loss.
Let's play a game. Quick game. I'm going to give you some stats, and you tell me what quarterback this was, okay? He was 12 for 27, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Name that quarterback.
Oof. 12 for 27. The first week, my quarterback the first week.
No, this was last week. Last week's stats.
Last week?
Mm-hmm. 12 for 27, 125 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception.
It wasn't Brock, was it?
We have a winner. We have a winner.
Yeah.
That was Brock. Whoa.
It's a crazy thing to see. Like I said, the only quarterback that passed against the Cleveland Browns for over 200 yards was Kenny Pickett. And it's amazing because the Cleveland Browns are they're turning into something special, brother. I mean, aside from trying to figure out what's going on with that quarterback, they're going to be something to deal with. You like that, huh?
I saw you made that point earlier in the show, the 200 yards, the only team. So, yeah. You had to just re-reference that again, eh?
You know it. Hey, but Cowboy Kenny.
But I just want to say, how about them Cowboys, man? How about them Cowboys?
Cowboy Kenny, that's a quick question I want to ask you real quick. Now, the Dallas Cowboys played last night versus the LA Chargers. So the Chargers, it was a tie game, and I know a lot of you Cowboy fans, you don't come out of the woodwork or whatever crevices you guys come from out of
until they win.
Until the final gun sounds, and then we hear the chants all the time. We hear the chants all the time.
Hear them rocks moving, people crawling up from me underneath them.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
I don't subscribe to that.
So let me ask you this. Now the Cowboys, that was a good win for you guys. But what is your feeling with the Cowboys sitting at 4-2 right now? Do you think that's a good 4-2, or do you think the Cowboys are nowhere near the level they should be?
No, we're nowhere near the level we should be. I quite honestly, I'm glad we got the win. It's a win for us. Okay, I'm a Cowboy fan. Yeah, yippee-yi-yay. But no, LA Chargers, man. They and quarterback had a broken finger. Their quarterback, so he's playing under some duress, and we barely beating him. Barely inked that out. Barely, just barely.
See, that's what I love about
Last play of the game. Last play of the game. Last 2 plays of the game. Football and what's his name? Gilmore.
Yep.
He was getting burnt all night.
That boy's
all
trash.
Night long.
That boy's trash.
Yeah, he is trash. He is trash. I was like, why are they hyping this dude up?
Yeah.
But he came through at a time when it really mattered. So he's another. What's the guy name? I always call him the guy we finally got rid of.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke? No, the cornerback. I forgot the.
Which one?
I thought was
Brown.
Yeah, Anthony Brown.
Yeah, Anthony Brown was a
Who's
bum.
now
Anthony Brown was
he's
a
now
bum.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and Stephon Gilmore ain't too much greater than him. I'm just keeping it real. I'm a realist.
Yeah,
I tell the truth. I love my boys. I love my Cowboys. But for us to play like we did last night and have to struggle like that, that's our life. I'm still not convinced.
Welcome to Pittsburgh. That's the story of our lives. Struggling. We're that dog in the alley trying to get beat.
Oh, we keeping it up here. Keeping it up here. It's got attention is building here. San Fran Steve. He's watching. San Fran Steve said, "Ask Cowboy Kenny, how about Dak's $59.4 million salary cap hit for next year.
Yeah, I
Whoa!
know. I know San Fran, Steve. I know.
Listen.
I know it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
I know
Like
how-
a real.
I
So,
have
remember the Dallas, the
I have
TV
a
drama
resolution.
that used to come on.
Say it again.
Huh?
Say it again.
Remember the Dallas, the TV drama that used to come on in the 80s?
Oh yeah, with JR. Yeah.
Who shot JR?
Welcome to the 2020 version. Okay.
Well, my idea is, in Thanksgiving when they have the Salvation Army bucket in the end zone and whatnot,
Yeah.
just put him in there, like that one year that Ezekiel Elliott jumped in there. Put him in there, have it a donation,
Oh.
have it go to charity. Salvation Army. I'm pretty sure they could use money for some food. People out there homeless, starving. Use that salary cap hit, write off on his taxes. Jerry Jones is not stupid. But here's another thing
Yeah.
we didn't bring up: the fact that the Dallas Cowboys won, but pretty much other than the Redskins squeaked out a victory. I don't know who they played or
It was
won.
an ugly win, though. It was
But it was
an
a win.
ugly win.
Eagles.
win,
We're going
yeah.
to talk about the Eagles. They were
Oh,
upset
yeah.
by the New York Football Jets and the Giants losing to Buffalo, which is no surprise, even though the Giants should have won that game. No surprise they
Well-
exposed the Buffalo Bills because the Bills are like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played down to their competition. And it's just I
just say it was a great weekend for us Cowboy fans.
it was horrible for us because
weekend.
everybody else won in our division. The Browns won, the Bengals won,
Yeah.
and the Ravens won. Ravens should have lost that
So-
game.
Well, let me ask you
Y'all
this.
tied for first place.
Yeah.
now?
Well, we are right now, but we might be a game behind because everybody played and we're off that week. But
Yep.
let me ask you
Got
this. Now, I think the Cowboys are the Cowboys off next week,
Yes,
They gotta
Cowboys
buy
have a
next
bye.
week.
We play.
and they
we're
played.
off- we got to buy,
Thank
but we
God
come
for
back
you.
to the Eagles in 2 weeks.
Oh,
That's going
boy.
to be a test. That right there is going to be another test, just like San Fran.
Fly,
you know?
Eagles, fly.
All I can say, Cowboy Kenny, make sure you call back in and Steeler Nation Live after the Eagle game. We
Just-
got much to discuss.
Yeah, just like San Fran
Oh,
Steve
you know
called
it.
in after
know
they lost. We want you to call in after you lose. Fair.
I called in last time on my
Yeah,
loss.
he did. He did.
Oh, that's
Albeit at
right.
the end of the show, but okay.
Yeah, we were signing off. Yep. Good night, folks. Oh, it's Cowboy Kenny. Let's see what he has to say.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Cowboy Kenny, like I said, make sure you check us out. Check us out next week. Actually, we want to get some more feedback on what the Cowboys will be looking forward to do as well. And actually, the Cowboys got
Oh,
a
you
huge
know it.
game coming up. So, brother, we'll see you. And thanks for stopping by Steeler Nation Live.
You know it. How about
He's getting ready to stay out with them Cowboys.
Oh boy. So San Fran Steve, when he called, he had a couple points that we really didn't talk about. The fightings and the teams. What is the NFL going to do about that? I'm pretty sure fines will be levied out. Sanders, do you know about the fines? Who gets money for the fines? Anybody at home? 585-210-3917. If you don't know, you've come to the right place here at Steeler Nation Live. The NFL and the NFL Player Association does not get any money. It goes to player development, whatever that means. I mean, to recognition for being a cleaner player, not doing any dirty hits, kind of like teaching the players how to be safe on the field. So, Sanders, how much do you think from preseason to last week, week 6, how much do you believe that the NFL collected in fines?
It's got to be a lot because they were actually hitting some people with fines, especially Steelers, but which kind of gets me. But yeah, they were hitting people with fines.
We know this here at Steeler Nation Live. $8,466,650 in fines alone from preseason up to week 6, Sanders.
Dang.
But that's not the staggering figure. The staggering figure right now is almost half of those fines, 8,466,000 are wait, no, I'm sorry. That was the total in fines. Jacksonville has almost $4 million in fines.
Dang.
$4 million. The Steelers, a measly $225,000 in fines. And so what did I do? I looked up and I found out who were the bad boys of the Pittsburgh Steelers and how much they were assessed fines. We'll start off with Keanu Neal with $8,556. Kuntz, the long snapper, what can he possibly have done to get this fine? $5,222. Let's see. DeMarvin Leal, $6,549. And we're going to go up the charts here.
KZ.
$11,806.
Well, he's an ex-Cowboy. You can expect that.
Yeah. Miles punt blocking killer brew, $13,792. And we're going to keep on going up a little higher there. Sanders, who do you think, folks at home, who do you think had more fines? Jaylen Warren total or TJ Watt? Who do you think?
That's a good question. Say Warren.
Yeah, you're right. Jaylen Warren, $48,556 in fines.
What? I would like
for
to
running
know
back.
what,
Running back.
He's a running back who's
Running back.
getting banged and hit. So I would love to see what are some of these fines. That's crazy.
Well, I remember not the 2 games prior to our bye, he got fined for lowering his helmet down to avoid a tackle.
Oh, okay.
Like
To get to keep from getting spirit in the gut, I guess.
TJ Watt, $25,132. And amongst those fines was a fine of, I think it was $11,000 or $13,000 for removing his helmet after we won the last game. Pretty much game was over. He sacked the Ravens game. Sacked
25,000
Jackson and 13,000 for removing his helmet. Now, sports fans out there, we've seen the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And we all know what's going on in Kansas City. They're the new New England Patriots. Not getting any flags, not getting any calls, right? Player takes his helmet off in the end zone, argues with the referee during a game. No flag, no fine, but the referee did ask him to put his helmet back on, though. He did.
That's nice of him.
So I don't understand what's going on with these referees, and this is what we're leading into our next point of we've all seen referees make erroneous calls. What were they thinking? And San Fran Steve showed me, he sent me a couple pictures of their office in New York City where they call up to New York and they look at all these video boards. Where'd they get these people from who look at these boards, these video screens, and call back down to the field and say what the penalty should be or what the flag is for, whatever? It's ridiculous. You would think that all these people involved in calling this penalty or waving off a penalty with all the camera angles, with all the time, no pressure, they're not on the field, could not make some of these calls. We'll talk about the one call, Buffalo against the Giants. I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not a Bills fan, but we all seen it. Last play of the game, basically, he was holding on to him. You could call it holding in the end zone. You call it pass interference, whatever you want, but it was a penalty. I mean, come on. You got to call it what it is. And there have been times where Pittsburgh Steelers, I know, benefited from some horrible calls. I got it. I'm talking about the whole NFL in particular. Now, these guys, like I said, they got camera angles all over the place. You can pick up a flag as quickly as you throw it, but nothing is being said. Nothing is being done. Nothing is being corrected. It seems that these referees continuously make these horrible calls. And it's not, and they happen to be in situations that is detrimental to the victory of either side of the team. Wow. So what I propose, Sanders, is that every time a referee throws a flag that is very questionable, there should be should be a fine lowered towards him. NFL Players Association, their union, should get together and have some kind of review board of the referees. I don't know if they have it or not. If they do, they're doing a freaking horrible job. But they need to investigate these referees. And what I mean by investigate, Vegas is a huge moneymaker. We've seen documentaries of professional sports, going under because of money, betting, laundry. We got Pete Rose for betting. We got players suspended from the NFL because they're betting on other teams but you can go beat up your girlfriend or wife and you could, get one game misconduct. You miss a game or two, but if you gamble on football, not your team, you're out for over a year. But that's neither here nor there. We talk about that later in another show. But what I'm saying is this board needs to review, investigate these referees. How many times have these referees thrown bad flags? Who's their team? Who they like? Where are they from? Do they have a gambling problem? This stuff needs to be addressed by the NFL because this is getting out of hand. And it's just like any other sport. If you have an addiction, gambling addiction, and you're throwing games, the only recourse I think the NFL has, they do review, referees, and they just don't get to referee playoff games or the Super Bowl. I mean, they're all graded or whatnot. But I think because this is such a money-making deal, the NFL, it's a multi-gazillion dollar corporation, that these guys need to be investigated for, point shaving, throwing games, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree with you 111% on that. And they've been deciding a lot of games and a lot of questionable calls, and that's the problem with the NFL. It's been for a long time. If you go way back to even Brady with the tuck rule created, now you don't know what the hell is a tuck rule. You don't know what's a catch. You don't know, you don't even know what's what in the NFL. You don't even know what's what if you look at NFL for football. I mean, you got to be told, and the guys in the booth have to tell you what's going on because the rules change so much that they don't even know what's going on.
Right.
So that's a lot of the problems I think that's going on with the refs.
And catching a football is like one of the major components of an F. Would that be safe to say?
Oh yeah.
Running, kicking, and catching a football. Now, with rules, regulations, and all the cameras, we could see a mouse fart on the planet Mars, 60 million light years away, crystal clear. But you mean to tell me every camera on that field, even with replay, you cannot make the right call? I don't get it. I mean, if you don't know what a catch is, one of the main components of the game, what does that say about your organization? If you, with all the cameras, all the eyes, all the people chiming in, whatever, if you can't make a correct call with instant replay, get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's all I say, because we've seen time and time again where a referee makes a horrible call. It's on replay and they don't overturn it. They don't change it. I mean, folks, call in 585-210-3917. Let's hear your take on the referees. Now, we have a great friend of ours associated with Steeler Nation Live, Jim DeBell, former NFL referee. He's reffed the USFL. He's reffed them all. And we'll try and get him on the show down the line.
He's done some great things.
Oh,
Jim.
Great things. Battlefields to ball fields for veterans.
Yeah.
Definitely. Who need to turn their life around, who are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Check out our former shows, or go to battlefields.ballfields.com. And it's a great thing that former NFL referee Jim DeBell has done, working hand in hand with Mike Pereira of the NFL and Referees Association. But there are some good things that come out with the referee. I don't want to, bash them out, but when it gets to a point, Sanders, when you have all this technology at hand and all these professionals out there who've done it for many years and they still can't get it right. I know nothing's 100%, nothing's perfect, but come on, folks. Yeah. Let's hear your thoughts. 585-210-3917.
Hey, guys, also, we want to talk about some of the things that we have. What do we think the Steelers need to do to stay competitive? We got a game coming up this weekend versus the Rams, and we want to get that in as well.
Big changes coming up.
Scores. But one of the things that I see that's a big issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers is the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a problem with not using the tight end. More of the successful teams out there in the NFL that are teams that, they use the tight end to open up the run. The tight end open up everything else. The tight end's the only guy who leaves the line of scrimmage and is always open. Always. Let's go over some of the stats. Cleese for the Chiefs, 36 receptions. Another winning club. Sam Laporta. I don't know him that well because I haven't watched the Lions that well, but the Lions, look at him, top of their division. He has 29 receptions. Andrews for the Ravens, 24 receptions. And Kittle for the 49ers, 18 receptions. Now, in saying that, Kittle has 18 receptions, and the reason that he does have a lower amount of receptions is because he's got a well-supported cast around him, so that helps his receptions actually stay a little bit more at the lower level than some of these other guys. But if you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Oh, boy.
top of the division, you know what Pittsburgh's tight end is? Freiermuth, 8 catches for 52 yards.
I think only 1 touchdown too.
Yeah, no, I think he has 2. He has 2 touchdowns. Connor Hayward, 5, and rookie Washington, 1 reception. So you add that 8, 13, carry to 1. These guys are still four receptions short of Kittle. So the problem is, from what I've seen and from different outlets and different things like that, different videos, the Steelers have receivers that are wide open. The Steelers have tight ends that are wide open. But for some reason, I don't know, because we talked offline. A lot of us say, Matt Canada this, Matt Canada that. But it's not all on Matt Canada. Kenny Pickett has to wake up and see these open receivers. Now, I believe if Kenny Pickett starts for some reason, he's got it in his head. I don't know what it is that he doesn't see the middle of the field. He doesn't use it as a viable option where everybody else who torches us uses the middle of the field. So I'm kind of lost there, and I'm trying to figure that out as well. Actually, you know what? We got another call coming in. We're going to grab that one too here on Steeler Nation Live. So we're going to grab that right now. Welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Who do we got on the line? Oh,
you know who this
is. 2 Cowboy fans calling in on one night. Boy, you talk about disgusting TV.
Mm-hmm. How about them Cowboys?
I need a drink.
Let me ask you something. So the Cowboys right now, you guys you're sitting at 4-2. We just talked to Cowboy Kenny earlier. Now we got Cowboy Love and Rod on right now, and Cowboy Love and Rod. Let me ask you: the Cowboys are 4-2. Is it a good 4-2? Is it something that you're comfortable with?
I'm comfortable with it. I think I told you earlier today that during that game, Monday night, I was pissed off for 3.5 quarters. Because
so was I.
We did not play to our potential. I mean,
what, Dak throwing interceptions?
Well, no, Dak didn't throw an interception.
Exactly. That's not playing to your potential.
Are you trying to be funny? Shut up, Warren.
You still owe me.
But
you owe me, Rod.
I'm talking about the passing. He was not on target, especially when that touchdown attempt late in the game. That could have healed the game for us. I'm just not seeing any progression with our offense. I mean, it's the same generic plays. I'll give an example. When San Francisco played the Browns, I seen end arounds, all these type of trick plays, and I'm sitting up there watching the game, and I'm saying, why couldn't we do that?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Welcome to our world.
Right.
Right. I mean, they were rolling out, and the quarterback was hitting his man in stride. I said, why couldn't we do that?
Well, let me ask you something.
San Francisco was amped up. I know San Francisco was amped up to play the Cowboys, but we could have made those linebackers and safeties play honest. They knew that Dak was not going to beat them with his arm.
Okay, I agree with you. But let me ask you this. Now, I'm hearing from a lot of Cowboy fans out there. Is this the final stage for Dak in Dallas, or is this just, you know what, you got a young rookie coming in? Do you think it should be that time right now for the Cowboys to make the move?
Hey, look, they don't have Trey Lance there for nothing.
Well, here's my thought. Here's my thought.
Jerry Jones is not stupid. To me, Jerry Jones is not stupid. They got Trey Lance over there for a reason, and I think if Dak doesn't get his act together this year, there's the potential of him being let go or traded.
Yeah.
Well,
Look what we did to Elliott.
here's my thought, and this I'm not trying to be funny. This is honest.
Oh,
I
shit.
think I think Dak needs to be benched, and I think Cooper Rush needs to come in, not Trey Lance. Trey Lance hasn't been there long enough. Cooper Rush, if you remember, you're a Cowboy fan, when he came in, I think it was last year, and he played admirably. I mean, yes, you had a good running game too, and you had, plethora of wide receivers. So he connected and he got the ball rolling. And then as soon as Dak came back, screwed everything up. I think the only reason, if there wasn't a price tag as high as it is on Dak, he would have been benched a long time ago. They're trying to appease the fans with, hey, this is Dak Prescott. This is what we signed him for years ago. This is why we're paying him all this money. He needs to start. But when you're playing mediocre, like you said, and that you're not playing up to potential, he needs to be benched. Just saying.
Well, you just said it. You just can you imagine the psychological effect that will play on a individual like Dak Prescott benching him? I mean, you
can't make him any worse.
You're rolling the dice here. I'll give you an example. Look at New England, and as bad as their quarterback is playing, he's not benching him because I believe the psychological effect that it would play on that individual. I mean, let him play through his ups. Let him play through his bad moments.
Well, talking about New England, who's the backup? Who can replace him anyways? I don't even know who's Belichick.
Look, the way they're playing, look, they can get somebody out of the stand.
You know what? I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Pickett would shine.
On the same token, that will play a psychological, it could be a psychological disadvantage for an athlete, because now he's thinking about, hey, if I mess up, then I'm going to be benched. So there's going to be more dinking and doinking, or not throwing the ball down the field, or taking chances when he should, or someone's that's wide open and he's not going to throw the ball downfield. I mean, that's.
Well, I'm just going to feed off of what Sanders was saying earlier about the tight ends, and you see it through these teams that once you start going away from the tight end, like the Cowboys have, like all these other teams who are failing miserable, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, once you go away from the tight ends, this another example. The 49ers just lost. Kittle is their primary tight end, and he's in the passing attack. He had 3 touchdowns the game before. He had one catch.
This time he only had one catch or something like that.
How are you? I mean, that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you go away from what got you there or what gets you wins, you're going to lose. I mean, because you have to go for what you know, and you have to run the plays until they don't work anymore.
I agree.
I agree with that. I agree with that totally.
In the list that Sanders had with the tight ends, Kelsey, Chiefs are doing really good.
Yeah, Andrews,
Laporta from the Lions. The Lions are what, 5-1 or 4? I don't even know what they are. They're 4-1. They're like the Lions, first place.
It just pains me when I see teams, even when the Cowboys were actually doing a lot better. You guys made great use of your tight ends. Schultz went to the Houston Texans, and I believe he's actually
correct.
He's actually got some good receiving targets there. And it like I said,
and Ferguson for the Cowboys, he's a great tight end too. So why aren't you using him?
And as far as Schultz going to the Texans, he's just now starting to get targets. The first 2 games, he really didn't get targeted much.
Well, with
now
the new quarterback, CJ Stroud coming in, he's starting to find the field. He's starting to open up.
Right.
He's starting to see a better picture.
Correct. He's starting to hit Dalton Schultz a lot more now.
Right.
And like I said in the beginning, the first couple of games, Dalton Schultz wasn't getting much attention.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Oh, hey, you know, Cowboy Loving Rod on the line here on Still a Nation Live, calling in. You know, I know because of the Cowboys are 4-2 that we received a great call from Cowboy Loving Rod, which we all know that would happen otherwise. But Rod, you know, we want to thank you again, man, for calling on Still a Nation Live. We running against the wall, so we're gonna check you out, brother. And thanks again for calling in on Still a Nation Live, dog.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for the warning.
Thanks for the warning. Hey, but guys, like we said, the Steelers were down this week. We wanted to bring in guys. We wanted to get your guys' feedback from teams out there, what you thought about NFL. We talk about the Steelers, but the Steelers were down this week. So we wanted to do some things different. We wanted to get some feedback from some other guys out there, see what they're coming in. You know, we had San Fran Steve calling in, giving us his feedback about his San Francisco 49ers. Granted, they lost, but he made the call. That's what I love. Standing on stage. We had Cowboy Kenny. Of course, they won, so he was in the house. And we also had Cowboy Loving Rod. Oh, my God. Lord. He called in, checked us out here on Still a Nation Live. You know, guys, if you got a team, you know, we want you guys to call in, check us out there. You know, a lot of people lighting up the boards, different outlets as well. Chad, hey, back at you. Hey, you know what? We had a Bev call. Bev was checking us out online. We had a lot of people writing in online. We love that feedback from all different outlets as well. Guys, but one of the things I want to talk about real quick before we leave the Steelers, we didn't get a score. Steelers stopping down at the LA Rams. James, give us a score for the Ram game.
It's going to be a close. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people predict. But unfortunately, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers travel out West Coast, and they're going to be dominated by the Rams passing game. I mean, you got Uka Kunuko or whatever it is, and you got the boy, he's back off injury, Cooper Kupp. I mean, nobody can watch this guy. It's going to be hard work for the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary. Unfortunately, I'm realistically, I'm going to say 31-10, the Rams.
31-10. Wow.
And I think that's being generous.
31-10 Rams?
31-10 Rams. It's going to be a West Coast trip. You know, I hope I'm wrong. But the only good thing that we have going for us is that their top two running backs probably won't even play. So,
wow.
But then again, you know, they have a plethora of running backs, great offensive line. They got a great quarterback, and plus they have tight ends that they throw to. So that's why I'm saying it's going to be 31-10, Sanders.
31-10 Rams.
What do you got?
I'm looking for the Steelers to go out there. It all depends on how they start off. And I hate to say that because that sounds like Matt Canada. You know, if our
big changes coming.
Yeah, if our offense doesn't start off well, we're going to lose.
Big changes.
But I can see the Steelers. I see them winning this game, and
I hope
maybe it's a resurgence or something. Maybe they got to figure out that, you know, during the off week, somebody said, you know what, hit your tight ends, make use of your tight ends. A lot of other teams in your division are using your tight ends, so why don't you use your tight end, Kenny Pickett? You see a guy going across the field that's like right in front of your face, like right here, just throw the ball to him. I mean, you know, just simple math like that.
But I think this part of the season, historically, statistically, this is the time of the year that Pittsburgh Steelers turn it around and have above 500 average. And we're going to go into the part of the season on an upswing. We're 3-2. We won our last game. And now is the time where the Pittsburgh Steelers gel and they advance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be this game.
Well, I'm giving you a score. Chad Chatera online, he says, I give the Steelers pulling it off a 21-17 score.
Oh, all right.
And I was actually looking for something close like that. I'm looking more like a 24-17 type score. Because I believe this might be one of those weeks where Kenny Pickett, he's playing in better weather, should be. So it should be a time for him to find a way to shine. If you use those tight ends and you start using your backs and the outback and out on the swings, I believe that'll cause the linebackers to drop. The Steelers just have to do it. Kenny's just got to see the field. And it's not a lot of the field he's got to see. throw it to whoever's in front of you and they're wide open and things will work.
I see if the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, knowing that there's not going to be a running game, if they can attack the quarterback, play guys back in coverage, and make splash plays and create turnovers, that is the only way. Put pressure on the quarterback, come up with some big-time interceptions, maybe a pick six, a scoop six, whatever. That's the only way I see Pittsburgh Steelers staying in the game and possibly winning it. Other than that, if the defense does not come up big like they've done in the past 3 wins, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to get blown out. And it's unfortunate, and I hate to say that, but you know what? We're not delusional here at Steel Nation Live. I mean,
at least we're hoping not.
Right.
Hey guys, like we said, is another show in the books here on Steeler Nation Live from your boy Sanders Tisdale.
James Owen.
You know, next week we just gotta wait and see what happens with Pittsburgh. Going on to the Rams. James picked them to lose. I picked them to win. And we'll see. Some of you guys out there, make sure you keep continuing supporting us, checking us out. We love the feedback we get from everyone. And guys, we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. We do it because we love it, and we do it because you guys support us. So again, from Sanders Tisdale and James Owen, we'll see you Tuesday on Steeler Nation Live.